Yesterday I travelled a few miles to a different town and I collected a huge job lot of electronics, and this is probably the most I've ever bought actually in one go. So I bought, I guess, around 30 items, and I got it pretty cheap actually for all 30 items. There's some really good stuff in there, and I'll list what I picked up in the description for this video that I'm making now. But this is one of the items actually, and it's a Pioneer Minidisc Recorder. It's a long play, so it's only short play as far as I understand, and it's an MJ-D707. It's got a really nice display to it, and I think a lot of people commented how nice that is, and just the look and finish of the Pioneer, the sort of front here is just really nice. I've actually got a CD recorder from Pioneer which is around the same time as this, and it looks similar to this, so putting those two together would look really nice actually. So this has got a legato link conversion, and I don't have the remote for it. I've obviously got all the controls on the front, as you can see. Now, I've been told it doesn't work, so I'm hoping it's just something as easy as cleaning the head. But anyway, let's have a look. So we power it on. There's no disc to start with, so let's get one. Now, a lot of my discs are in long play, so obviously a long play won't play in this player, but I'm hoping that this one is of a format that will work, i.e. short play, so we can tell if there's an issue if it takes a while to load up, which it looks like it is struggling a little bit here. You can hear it whirling. Okay, so let's put it out of its misery a minute. Now, for anyone with mini discs, it's very important to have one of these. So this is a mini disc lens cleaner, and I'm going to give it a whirl on this. I haven't been keeping the card up to date, but I've not, yeah, so there's an insert card to record how many times that you use it, but I've not been doing that. I've not used it greatly, so probably just a handful of times, but let's plug some headphones in, and there's a headphone level over there, if I can hear anything. And these obviously are recorded a bit differently, so they tend to kind of work a bit easier. Oh look, it's come up straight away there, so it's found that, which is quite good. Let's just play it then. It's very informative. I guess it's got some bristles on it, the cleaning disc part, so it must be similar to CD when you go to clean those. I could try opening actually and have a look, couldn't I? But it's a bit tricky with one hand, so I'll assume that's what it's done. Let's get this one again. Now it may need more than one pass through. We might have a head that's kind of on a, you know, on a bit of a limit to what it can read. So a lot slower, so it's still having trouble. I'm going to try putting in one that I know will work, or should work, I should say. I don't know if it will work, but it's a pre-recorded. So this is Oasis. Let's try that. So that's come up straight away, and it lets you select the different tracks. So I guess I need to determine if that, of course, self-recorded mini discs is of a reasonable quality and plays in other players. So that looks hopeful for playing those types. Oh, okay. Okay, so it looks like it's found it, and it's read the table of contents. Okay, shall I be brave and try to send it to a different track? Obviously, it's struggling to seek, isn't it? Shall I put the cleaner back through again? That's interesting. The first track, it seems to be struggling over more than the other tracks. No, it's starting to struggle on that as well. So obviously trusting this to record anything might not be such a good idea, but for playback, if it gets its act together, it might be okay. Let's run the cleaner through again a minute and play to select track 2. So it must be doing it in between the tracks, mustn't it? So every time I go track 1 and then I move it, you can hear it's moving it a little distance. So that's probably the cleaning part there. I suggest. Let's not wear the thing out. That seemed a bit quicker, didn't it? And that's playing better. The seeking's not too bad. That's actually made a bit of a difference, hasn't it? Now, to sort this out properly, possibly I would need to take it apart. Turn that down so we don't get any copyright. So possibly need to take it apart and give it a deeper kind of clean, but it may be also that it's not been used for a while, so potentially the more it gets used, the more it seeks tracks, it may get it working a bit better, so that's quite good. So that's a bit of a result, isn't it? It looks like I've got something that almost works. Well, it's definitely playing now, so the other test would be to try a recording, wouldn't it? I would have to feed in a line, maybe from another mini disc player, perhaps, just the audio line in. Give that a go in a minute. I'll try recording. Let's just have a look at the front. So there's a digital noise reduction circuit. It is different to Sony in that the processing, the sound will sound different. So it's obviously very hard to tell with just headphones on the desk like this. But with it wired up to hi-fi, it'll be interesting to compare it to a regular CD, for example. I've got a MASH sort of Technics, so not anything particularly special, but it's fairly clean in its sort of audio, so it'll be a good kind of test against that player. So what else we got? We've got various modes here: repeat, A/B, time skip, play mode, record mode, name, clip, display. So that just gives us this information. And up here, there's a timer as well, so that's quite nice. So it could be set up to record at a particular time, I would imagine, unless it's in sync with something else. I'll have to have a look at the manual. Then there's some edit controls here, as well as obviously the standard kind of jogging controls. And you can obviously, let's try that. So just put my finger down and let it skip through the track somewhat. Synchro record, so that will basically start recording as soon as it starts. Hearing some music, audio. Input selectors. Oh, that's interesting. So on here, you've got your selector for analog, coax, or optical. So that's nice. It's got an optical on the back, and there's a record level as well, so you can kind of tweak that before you make your recordings. Obviously the eject here. Nice big display there. Let's have a little look behind it. So it's a nice solid machine, you can tell. We've got the audio analog input for recording and for hooking up to your amplifier to output out. There's a coaxial digital input there. There's the optical there. That's got its little cover on still, and it's got an optical digital output as well, so that you can actually pass that into something else and let it do the audio part for you. So that's quite nice, isn't it? Manufactured July 1998, so a few years now. And what's always nice to see with anything like this, made in Japan. It's a nice quality product, made in Japan. So for the recording, I'm just going to do a very basic test, and I'm going to use analog inputs. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this mini disc that I created, the Travis one, and I'm going to put that into this Sharp, which I got quite recently as well, and play back using the headphones into the back of this mini disc player. So I'm just going to go in the usual route, and I'm going to use a brand new mini disc to give myself the best chance of making a recording. So I don't know if these are rare or not. I've got a lot of mini discs, sort of used ones. This is one that has been kind of lying around for a little while. Looks like it's going to be gold inside. Let's have a look here. Looking nice. You get your little inlay, and you get a nice looking disc there. Oh, it's got to do a good job now, isn't it? Don't let me down. And it goes. All right, let's go and put that into here. If I can. That's still reading. It's going to find there's nothing there though, isn't it? It's come up blank disc, and this one is playing already, so that's good. Let's stop that. All right, let's plug this in. So I've turned the volume down on this to 0, so I'm not going to blow anything up, and that's already set to analog. All right, so if I play this, will it actually be monitoring it at this stage? What have we got on here? Our record level. I'll whack that right up actually, and I'll start increasing the volume. So it looks like I will have to record but pause. Should I try that? That's come up. Disc error. Let's turn that down again. Could this be our problem with it? It knows it's a blank disc, but it's unable to be fine with that, shouldn't it? So it looks like it needs a deeper clean at least, or for someone to have a look at it. That someone is me, unfortunately. So I will be taking it apart in a minute if it's unable to go into this record mode. It's obviously right on the boundary of what it can do. Turn up the... Oh look, it has started to record, but I bet it's not recording very well. Okay, I'm increasing the volume on the mini disc. Now it's so memory full. So it's having a hard time right into the disc, isn't it? There you go. I'll try again. I think what I'm going to do is exercise this a bit more with a regular disc. So I'm going to do that for a bit to see if it helps it or not. Maybe the mechanism is a little bit kind of glued up, where it's not being used. Maybe there's a bit of grease on it. It's not even playing because it's obviously not writing the table of contents, is it? Okay, let's stop this other one from whirling. And let's pull that one out. You know this one will work a treat, so let's put this one in a minute and let's play, but let's move around the tracks. Very happy with something pre-recorded. I'm very happy with the lens cleaner, which is obviously a bit like a pre-recorded mini disc. Not very happy with my recording from God knows how many years ago, so not very happy with that disc, and not particularly happy with the new disc recording to it. So me making it move around like this is hopefully helping it somewhat. This is obviously prior to taking it apart, or feeling a need to take it apart. Let's start skipping through parts of the tracks as well. There's nothing much wrong with playing back that. Go backwards now. It's quite responsive, quite quick actually. There's nothing there. There shouldn't be. Okay, synchro record again. Oh, that's interesting. It's kind of ready, isn't it? So I press play. So it's stopping, isn't it? It's just struggling to record. I'm just taking the volume up slightly. Maybe that's a little bit high. That looks a bit better, doesn't it? Turn it down slightly. So it did seem to do a little bit more there. Shall I leave it on for a bit and just see if it will play through a whole disc? I've put the old Travis mini disc back in, the one I recorded, because I know it kind of struggles a bit with that one. Anyway, I figure if it does load it up again and lets me play, then maybe I'll stress it a bit more with the seeking, making all sorts of noises. It looks like it's found something. Oh, it's come up disc error, so that's not good. Let's put it in again then. So what we're dealing with here is something that is probably fairly borderline, and I would still say it's got to be the lens that needs a little look at, possibly cleaning a bit more. Maybe it's a little bit more ingrained than what the head cleaner can deal with. Obviously access inside here is a little bit trickier than on a portable, because it's probably a sealed unit inside there. Well, I would have thought it is. I wouldn't know anyway until I take it apart. So once it's kind of loaded that table of contents up on this home recording, it's pretty quick to seek. Okay, let's just give it a bit of an exercise. We all need a bit of exercise in our lives, don't we? That's one thing you discover if you sit down too long. Maybe this has been sat too long. Listen to it whirling around in there. Getting a bit of a workout now. Then let's do the old skip through, fast search through a track. Seems to hit a certain speed, doesn't it? It's going fast. So, for all intents and purposes, to play my old mini discs, probably okay. But if you were to want to sell something like this, you really need it working properly. So recording is obviously key. Let's check that. I love these controls on it. It's very straightforward to use this model. It appeals to my simpler mind, I think. Oh, you hear that? It's almost like the disc isn't maybe loading properly or something. Very strange. I'm going to have to put the disc back in here again, aren't I? So the good thing about this video I'm making today, as you can see, I'm not using anything Sony. Well, I am, aren't I? I'm using one thing that's Sony, that's the disc. But I'm using a Sharp here, portable, which is a short play and long play player recorder. And I'm using it obviously in conjunction with this Pioneer. So let's do synchro record. Let's listen. So it's struggling to write what it's listening to. So it's got a buffer involved, and the buffer is filling up before it can write everything. So 2 screws on either side of the case, and then possibly more on the back to take off. There looks to be just 2 screws that go through this lid. It looks to come apart like this. It looks very clean inside actually. Doesn't look like it's had much use. Oh, I do like this switch on the power supply here. This is nice. So this is a proper switch. We can leave that plugged into the mains. It just looks a very nicely designed device, doesn't it? No immediate issues, I don't think, with capacitors. Obviously without testing capacitors. And there's not many on the power supply actually. So there's a few screws here by the looks of it that's holding maybe this on the top. I like this Pioneer branding. So those 3 screws, it seems to give you a little bit of leeway here, but I would say probably safe just to take the front panel off, just pop that forward. So there's some more screws involved there. There's some on the side here. I don't know if there's any underneath. Now there were 2 screws I removed on the bottom. There was a mark here. It looks like a screw would have been in here. So to me, it looks like it's probably been taken apart. So someone's already had a look at this. But anyway, let's give it a go myself. If you find you take too many screws out when you're taking things apart, then make sure you put them back early on so you don't lose them. So I've just put a couple of screws back in. So this whole front panel does slide off now. There's a bit of take here with some cables, but there's another kind of connector further down which is restricting it, I think. So on that side anyway, but I still want this to line up because obviously I want to be able to get to the discs. And let's power it up, and I always turn it to the wall when I'm taking things apart because you never know where your screwdriver might end up. Let's have a look inside. So it all looks intact. Obviously the loading belt, that feels all right. We know it does load. There's the erase part, and there's the head down there. I'm just going to use a cotton wool bud just gently on it. So I've not used anything with it at the moment. I've not put any cleaning solution on it. I'm just using the cotton wool bud, you know, just to brush it gently to see if I move anything across. So let's just see. That loads up. I now need to put my audio source back on. Now I've been experimenting with adjusting a screw, which is located just inside here. I'll show you the one that I adjusted, but I've now recorded a few tracks. I'm on my 4th one now, and it seems to be quite happy. It's also reading everything a bit quicker now, which is good. So it seems that the laser itself wasn't particularly dirty. It may have been marginally dirty, I guess, but the main issue is with this position here of the disc, and I better not get over where the laser is because obviously I don't want that in my eye, but I'll stop this a minute and just show you what I mean. And I will now eject, and it's right into the table of contents. It's ejected. So all I have done is adjusted that screw there, the one you can see in the middle, and I've tightened it. Now I did go the other way. I did try loosening it, but it made it worse. So now I've tightened it, it seems to be better. Just to check I haven't messed up playback of that disc, pre-recorded one. I think it's loading quite quick. Difference between pre-recorded mini discs is the fact that you don't have to have a slider on the top, which means that you're never going to raise it basically, whereas a regular kind of recordable disc, you've got this slider which exposes the disc both sides. So on the bottom the laser's reading it, and on the top you've got the erase part. Let's stop that. And I've kind of worked out how to use the controls here. So you go into record, and it is very much like the Pioneer CD recorder that I've got, in that you set it up to record, it goes into like a pause mode, and then you can press play and that will start to record the track for you. If you want to use synchro record, then you can. So that obviously means that you have this mini disc player switched off, or your source switched off. There you go. And then as soon as it hears it, it will start recording for you. So I'll do a quick demonstration of that in a minute. So the tracks I have recorded haven't been very long. It's really just to test it's kind of working. So it's a lot happier reading the contents. I'm just going to demonstrate synchro record. So if I just press synchro record, it will start recording straight away because it's picking up the audio. And it seems to be recording fine now and playing disc better as well. So I think that's a good result there. I'm a bit surprised that it was an adjustment of the screw, but it could go tighter. It didn't feel tight enough, so that's all I changed. So that obviously means that the disc is in the right position for the laser to read, which is really good. Let's just stop this, and then we'll just eject it, and I'm just going to plug in the headphones and try to play track 6. The headphones in, I'm now going to skip, once it gets there, to 6. It's doing it occasionally. It's going kind of too far over and making that funny noise. I'm confident it's going to record. Yeah, it's going to find it. Let's go to 6 and then play. I had to make one more adjustment on the screw just to tighten it one last bit. On track 6 it was kind of clipping, so obviously it wasn't quite there, was it? So when I play this now, you can hear that it's not clipping. So that's good. I think that's a reasonable result. So I'm very happy now. I seem to have this recording, which it couldn't do to start with, and it was really struggling, wasn't it, to play some of those discs as well. So that's a good result for me. I'm happy to put everything back together now and move this upstairs to have it with the rest of my hi-fi, my other separates. and I will be digging out all of my old mini discs that I would have recorded in short play, because the first time I got mini disc I only had short play machines anyway, so there should be a stash of them somewhere, and I'm going to give that a go later through the loudspeakers. So yeah, I'm happy with that, and I hope that the video goes some way to helping someone else solve a similar problem with their Pioneer MJ-D707. As I said earlier, this was part of a huge job lot of electronics that I picked up yesterday. I'm going to put a load of them in the description, all the model numbers, and I intend to actually have a look at some of the CD players, because there's some quite interesting CD players, as well as a few other items which are quite fun to muck about with. So yeah, if you want to have a Google through that and see the sort of videos I'm going to be producing in the future. Thank you for watching, and if you subscribe and like, I will certainly do some more videos in the future. Bye for now.